Watching the power grab and illegality going on in Washington, it's easy to feel helpless, like there's nothing you can do. Don't believe it. Every state a criminal. Elon Musk and his tech bros are not above the law, and a corrupt president has no ability to pardon state crimes.
Clear's throat dramatically gather round. Dear viewers, for I have a tale to spin that will have you riveted from start to finish. A story of power, corruption, and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to challenge the status quo. Strap in, because you're about to embark on a journey that will leave you questioning the very nature of our political landscape. It all began, as these things often do, with a simple tweet, a harmless jab from the Lincoln Project, the notorious group of Never Trump, Republicans who have made it their mission to take down the former president and his cronies. But as we all know, when it comes to Donald Trump, nothing is ever simple. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It is free and help us bring you enjoyable content. And of course, watch till the end. Picture the scene. The former president, ensconced in the gilded halls of Mar-a-Lago, scrolling through his beloved Truth Social, basking in the adulation of his loyal followers. He's expecting the usual fare. A few fawning comments, perhaps a comparison or two between himself and the great Abraham Lincoln. But then, like a thunderbolt from the blue, he sees it, a tweet from the Lincoln Project that dares to challenge his very authority. Donald Trump is a convicted felon, the tweet reads, and if elected, he will be a danger to our democracy. The words hit him like a punch to the gut, a direct affront to the carefully curated image of invincibility that he's worked so hard to cultivate. Now, anyone who's
Republicans in Washington, they ran for office thinking they could be on the field, making a difference. Players in the big time.
Executive authority, which we applaud.
Preen for the cameras.
He's in charge, and it's a great feeling to have him back in the Oval Office.
They know their role.
Even remotely familiar with the workings of the Trump psyche knows that the man has the emotional resilience of a middle schooler who's just been left on read. And when it comes to the Lincoln Project, it's like poking a bear, one that's been down.
He's moving forward aggressively across all areas of government.
In spray tan and wears a tie that reaches down to its knees. So, as the former president reads those damning words, you can almost hear the gears in his mind grinding to a halt, the cogs of his fragile ego grinding against one another like the rusted parts of a neglected machine.
Donald Trump on Monday night, he sees this and he goes, oh, these damn Lincoln Project people. And he puts this Truth Social out. Rick, let the dramatic reading come.
Diet Coke trembles in his hand, the phone clenched so tightly that his knuckles turn white, and suddenly, the silence of Mar-a-Lago is shattered by the sound of pure, unadulterated rage. The ketchup bottle flies.
The perverts at the failed Lincoln Project, who I was told were left-leaning rhinos that had lost their way and almost all of their financial support, just did an ad showing grassy, calm, and peaceful southern border.
Across the room, splattering against the wall like a Jackson Pollock painting, as Trump unleashes a torrent of all-caps fury, his face turning redder than a sunburned tourist in Florida. The Wi-Fi at Mar-a-Lago.
Not an illegal migrant in sight, explaining what a great job crooked Joe Biden did in dealing with what has become one of the Biden-inspired, country-threatening problems facing the United States today. Jesus, that's a run-on, Donald.
Good God.
Starts overheating from the sheer volume of angry Truth Social posts, as the former president lashes out at his old nemesis, the Lincoln Project, with all the subtlety of a toddler throwing a tantrum. The pervert.
They didn't happen to mention anything about the 18 million illegal aliens that have invaded our country, many from prisons and mental institutions, by the end of the failed Biden administration. Nor did they talk about the drugs pouring into the USA in amounts so large that no one, just 3 years ago, would have thought it possible. Watch what happens to these
at the failed Lincoln Project, who I was told were left rhinos that had lost their way and almost all of their financial support, just did an ad showing a calm and peaceful southern border, not an illegal migrant in sight, he rages, his words spilling forth in a torrent of grammatical chaos. Explaining what a great job crooked Joe Biden did in dealing with what has become one of the many Biden-inspired country-threatening problems facing the United States today. And in this latest salvo, they've hit him.
It's always possible.
He will abolish your rights.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
He's
right where it hurts the most, his fragile ego. By suggesting that he's a convicted felon and a danger to our democracy, They're not just taking a shot at his political ambitions, they're questioning the very foundation of his power, the very thing that he's spent his entire life building up. It's a bold move, to be sure, but the Lincoln Project knows exactly what they're doing. They're poking the bear, prodding him to react, and then using his own explosive emotions against him. They're not—
Video shared by former President Trump, which declares, yes, God made Trump, suggesting he's been put on earth to be some kind of a savior for the country. So the new ad—
just criticizing him. They're taunting him, daring him to lash out and prove their point. And the former president, ever the predictable creature of habit, falls right into their trap. The angry truth
ad from the Lincoln Project is a spoof of that message. Here it is.
And on the social posts, the ketchup-stained walls, the frantic staff scrambling to update their resumes. It's all part of the show, a display of raw, unfiltered emotion that the Lincoln Project has come to expect from their old nemesis. But as we dive deeper into this captivating tale, it's important to remember that the stakes are far higher than mere political—
or not, we will keep kicking your ass every single day. So if you want to try to sue us, Donald, go for it. Throw down. Let's go. We can't wait. You won't do it because you are, in fact, as I said previously, completely impotent.
Just posturing. This is a battle for the very soul of our democracy, a fight to ensure that the principles of truth, justice, and the rule of law are upheld in the face of those—
more than Republican. There's no Republican Party anymore. It's dead. Donald Trump killed it. Like he's like a parasite that ate its host from the inside out. It's over. So I'm one of the small group of survivors from the old school of
who would seek to subvert them. You see, the Lincoln Project's bold challenge to Trump's power is not just a personal vendetta. It's a rallying cry for all those who believe in the sanctity of our democratic institutions.
Of limited government, individual freedom and liberty, constitutional adherence. You know, there's not many of us who could fit us around.
By daring to call out the former president's alleged crimes and misdeeds, they're not just poking the bear, they're shining a light on the very real dangers that he poses to the stability and security of our nation. And as we've seen time and time again, the former president is not one to take such challenges lightly. His ego is a fragile—
desperately trying to cast his new reality show and to turn Nancy Pelosi into his foil. You know, the caravan, by the way, will disappear in a puff of smoke today because he has to find a new bandit, a new devil. And he's going to try to do that to Nancy Pelosi. He recognized today, and I hope Republicans recognize, that this man has no loyalty to
anything. A house of cards that's always threatened to collapse under the weight of his own hubris and delusions of grandeur. And when that happens, the consequences can be dire. A spiral of rage, desperation,
anyone. You know, he's blaming Mia Love and Carlos
and
Curbelo
a complete
and others
disregard for the norms and institutions that have long held our democracy
probably
together.
Will be a copy
but the
of my
Lincoln
plan
Project,
because,
with their keen understanding
basically
of the
that's
former
what she
president's
does.
psyche
Remember,
and their unwavering
a
commitment
couple of days
to the
ago,
principles of
and
truth
we
and
will
justice,
have
are
no
not about to
tax
let
on
that
tips.
happen.
I said that was my
They're
plan.
fighting back, using the former president's own weaknesses against him, and in the process, they're shining a light on the dark underbelly of our political system, the corruption, the cronyism, and the dangerous disregard for the rule of law that has become far too commonplace in the halls of power. So, dear readers, what are we to make of all this? What lessons can we draw from the epic meltdown of the former president and the bold, unapologetic challenge of the Lincoln Project? Well, I'll tell you, this is a call to action, a rallying cry for all those who believe in the sanctity of our democracy and the enduring power of truth and justice. Because make no mistake, the forces at play here are not just about political posturing or personal vendettas. They're about the very future of our nation, the very foundation upon which our way of life is built. And it's up to all of us as engaged and informed citizens to rise to the occasion. To stand up, to speak out, and to hold our leaders accountable, no matter how powerful or entrenched they may be. Because the alternative is simply unacceptable, a slide into authoritarianism, a descent into the kind of chaos and corruption that we've seen play out in far too many countries around the world. So, let's not sit idly by as the drama unfolds. Let's dive in, let's get our hands dirty, and let's fight for the future of our democracy. Because if we don't, who will? The Lincoln Project has shown us the way. Now it's up to us to follow in their footsteps, to challenge the status quo, and to ensure that the principles of truth and justice prevail, no matter the cost. After all, as the great Nelson Mandela once said, so, let's get to work, my friends. Let's roll up our sleeves, let's get our hands dirty, and let's show the world that the power of the people cannot be vanquished, not by the ego-driven tantrums of a former president, and not by the corrosive forces of corruption and authoritarianism that threaten to tear our democracy apart. The future is ours to shape, dear readers. Let's make it a future worth fighting for.